NERDSoul.
Lay ill kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd. So, what is up, my people? Today, oh yeah, another wonderful episode of That's Right on Screen. Loki back, y'all. Best believe that Loki back. I said it once again. Loki is back, y'all. You know what? This is a show that in its first season I was on the fence about through maybe like the first half, and then the second half it really kind of grew on me. And now that I've been away from the show for quite some time, it's been a while since we see season one. I really didn't appreciate how much I liked the set design, the color grading, the direction of this show. So before we even get started, I just want to say that it's good to be back here. Just the way the TVA looks, the way they kind of position people in the frames and stuff, it's just a very unique show in that regard. Compared to the other Marvel shows, not to say that, I mean, look, you've heard my reviews, so you know how I feel about the Marvel shows. We've had some bumps, all right? We've had some bumps, but like I said, you know what I'm saying? We here now. So we here, Loki season 2. And you know what? I'm happy with the first episode. I can say that I think we're off to a good start. And Marvel needs this. I mean, we're coming, I guess you could say, out of the we're coming out of the writer's strike. I think the actors are still on strike. So this is something that they need as far as a win to at least look good on paper. Also, they need a win from Marvel's television side, because Marvel's television side has been, like I said, man, it's been rocky. And a show that I expected to be like, really, really exciting, which was Secret Invasion, did not really do it for it, brother. I mean, you can hear the reviews, you know what I'm saying? It didn't really do it for me. But in this case, this starts out very tense, and it starts out in a way where we're starting to get our, get our pieces picked up from the first season. Like, we see Mobius and I believe B-15. They're already, at least I think she's B-15, the young lady that was in Lovecraft Country. We immediately see them going to the war room on some like, yo, look, everything we knew was a lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything that we thought was, correct, or that we thought we were doing a good thing. Like, she even says, protect. You thought we were protecting people? We were killing, we were, committing, mass murder. You know what I'm saying? All those timelines had, tons of people. They had, lives and families and this, that, and the third. So I like that we are not just driving by that particular story point. That this is the weight of this, the weight of them realizing that the timekeepers don't exist, the weight that, hey, hold up, we're variants, so hold up, we're the literal things that we were supposed to be destroying. That weight holding on the these different people in the war room. Even like she said, I handed down guilty verdicts because the timekeepers deemed it so. And kind of like, everything that I've lived is a lie and everything that I've done is wrong. But then you have the general. The general was like, look, I don't care. Pruning is what we do, and that's what we're going to keep doing. But the fact that they are seriously, dealing with what this means, for their past and their present, and how it can shape or what they will do to change their future, is awesome. I like that we're just not going to just drop that story beat. As far as Loki, bruh, man, that time skipping, like we see something similar And since we know that these are all part of some multiverse, we see this in Spider-Verse, but in live action, it looks like it hurts even more than it does animated. Like animated, it looks like it hurts. Like you could definitely see that, Peter B. Parker, he didn't look like he was having a fun time. But in live action, it looks like it hurts even more.
I like what I'm seeing. I didn't understand a lot what was going on, but it's such a strange, unique, good time. Um, I'm in it. I'm in to see where this goes. I'm glad. I really love how they picked up right where season one ended. It's been a minute, so I might go back and watch some episodes or rewatch that great ending to that season. Um, I'm not even so much worried about whether it's multiverse, different things. We know Kang or He Who Remains is still around. The Council of Kangs, and I think Mr. Timely is probably the next one they're going to meet with his weird situation. So, Loki has to get cleansed of his time slipping this episode. And man, I really like the part where Mobius had to go out to space to, or whatever, the time stream that was ripping them apart. Just, it's a strange mix of color. It's drab to look like that like your old government building from the 60s and 70s. But it's so colorful and lively at the same time. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what to really expect.
Yo, so I got the chance to see Loki yesterday. Man, what a way for that series, this next season, to be able to kick off. I think one of my favorite things that are coming off from this is that we're playing back into the physics of how time is done, temporal changes, the constant idea that time isn't linear, it's more cyclical, and just the mystery of what is to happen versus what is happening versus what had happened to lead to what's going on. Great way to start. I mean, I will say this one thing that was very interesting is that you basically had a repeat pattern of like Loki appears, Loki goes Mobius, Loki runs, Loki disappears, Loki reappears somewhere else, Loki goes Mobius, Loki runs, Loki disappears, Loki reappears. We had this running trait over and over and over again, and honestly I thought that part was probably one of the funniest things. But overall, I think that this series is a good kickoff. This episode 1 was a great kickoff to Loki season 2, especially because I feel like there's so much weight that is going to be put on the shoulders of this series for the future of the MCU, not just from a storytelling standpoint, but I think from a financial and the continuity of the franchise and how this whole MCU franchise continues on.
And I like the fact that he's doing all he can to try to figure out where he is, when he is, and meet the right Morbius. And the way that he's trying to figure out his own state of being is something that I think is a nice addition and a nice change from his understanding in the first season. You know what I'm saying? So this, in a way, this season is starting off doing a great job of like turning everything on its head, which I think is dope. Now the general is going to be a problem. Like she said, the timekeepers were fake, but their warnings were real. We need to know what happened to the end of time and this, that, and the third. She is not going to let this stuff go, and she is going to be a problem. Like we even see later on, she's taking tons of hunters out on some type of mission. So this show starts in a way where it's tense. There's a sense of urgency. Loki is moving fast. He's talking on the go. No one's sitting in a room, and no one's like sitting down in a room trying to let's just stop the story and talk. Like they're moving as they're exchanging information, and they're not hiding things from one another, which is awesome. So just all of these parts end up making a dope show. Now, you know I gotta talk about your boy. Yo, when your man Mobius comes and says like, hey man, look, yo, ain't no such thing as time skipping. And he's like, yo, but we just saw it. He's like, yo, you see it right here. And even like we even see Mobius in the scene in the elevator where we think they're alone and they're not. Like there's little parts that they bring some levity to it, but things, like he was like, did y'all both kick each other out of the door or did you get beat? Because it sounds like you got beat up. Like, and him being like, yo man, I wasn't trying to fight her. So like those things, they bring some levity, but I like in this where they're not stopping the story or they're also not undercutting a serious moment to bring that levity. It's kind of like they're doing all of this stuff on the go, which is something that I expected to see. A sense of urgency of him coming out, and thank God they did this. Thank God they didn't do some weird time jump where it's like it's all good and we have to go back. I'm glad that we're starting from square one when he comes straight through the door like, yo, everything's different. So that's awesome. Now, the sets are awesome, the acting is awesome, but we get to see some new faces too. You know what I'm saying? Like the neat cosplay spoke about the new faces, and the main new face that we see in the first episode is this character that essentially helps us understand how TVA's time warping or whatever works, because we meet Ouroboros, who is the name of the episode, but of course he says Mobius, calls him OB, even though Mobius doesn't remember it because it's been like 400 years. Even though Mobius is like, the way time works here, I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's different. Him dealing with Mobius in the now time and Loki in the past time, and him as he's learning things in the past becoming memories in the present, that's awesome. I thought that was very cool and unique to place in this story. Man, I really appreciate the attention to detail, and I appreciate the way they're, I guess, displaying time in general. This show, man, this show rocks. This show is it. I was on the fence in the first season for like the first half of the first season, and then it started to grow on me. But now, with this, the way this is building off of the first season, I'm all in on this one. Like I'm all in. The mission that they had to go with the Time Weaver, finding out that Miss Minutes is somehow not there, the power going on and off, them having to do the temporal alignment thing where he had to like purge himself from the timeline, Loki having to purge himself. All of this stuff works for me, man. Like, for real.
I don't think we're gonna get too many things solved, but then again, end of season Loki 1 really kind of kicked off what is possibly the multiverse. I'm just gonna assume that Loki's multiverse is kind of what matters. I know we had a deluge of it at the time in the beginning of Phase 4. Yeah, Phase 4 had its issues. Some good. Everybody don't agree on everything or how the multiverse exactly work, but I guess we're about to get firmly planted back into it. So I guess we shall see. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But also, again, shout out to the people who went to the Loki fan event out in Atlanta. Everybody looked like they had a good time. Shout out again to Dana Morgan. Appreciate you greatly. That's my thoughts so far on Loki season 1. I'm gonna have to rewatch this because some of it was just kooky. The whole time loop paradox as they were building the time machine thing, going back from the past to the future, was funny, weird, bizarre, and it just looked like that time slipping stuff hurts.
I think this is going to be one that they're going to really be able to jump back, because we're seeing it with the Star Wars series. Like, Star Wars is getting their rise up, but Loki has to really right the ship that a lot of middle tier, assumed Disney content has been lately. But man, I love that. And of course, seeing like how significant Kang, and again, delving into what the Council of Kang really has been doing between the faces and everything is just like, yeah, I'm hyped to be able to see what's going to end up happening with this, because this is one for the ages. And I think last thoughts, I'm glad that they brought Kwai Gong, obviously dude from Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think he's an interesting little output into this one. The addition of the OD kind of then puts a different perspective on how the TVA is built and held together, since it's not fully explained. And I think it'll also help to explain some of these gaping holes in terms of the way that this organization functions, like outside the timeline, but seemingly within its own timeline. So, man, I'm hyped for it. This was a great start to the season, and I'm looking forward to whatever happens next.
Whoo, thank you, Lord, because it was time Marvel got a win, boy. Because man, that Secret Invasion, man, it was tough in them streets. I'm just saying, it was a struggle, and Phase 4 was a struggle, and Phase 5 was looking rough, man. Because Phase 5, we didn't really have much to hang on. You know what I'm saying? In these streets, Marvel Phase 5 was looking rough. Like, okay, so let's see. In Phase 5, we had what? We had Quantumania, which was alright. I'm not mad at Quantumania. We had Guardians 3, which I did enjoy. We don't have the Marvels yet. We don't have like Blade or any of that, even though they said they're gonna rewrite Blade from the beginning. So I don't think y'all gonna get that movie. But Loki is really hitting it for me on all levels. I don't know what we're going to get for Agatha and Echo, if those even drop, or Ironheart or whatever, but we know we're going to get Daredevil. That's, a foregone conclusion, but Loki, we're looking good. So I will go out on a limb and say Quantumania is in the okay range. I'm okay with it. I can watch it. I'm not mad at it. I don't think it's like the creme de la creme, but I think it's cool. Guardians, I thought was really good. I thought it was a definite step up from Volume 2, and a great way to end their story. Secret Invasion was rough. It was rough. But Loki is looking really good. So in all honesty, we got two strongs, okay, and a stinker. So we still overall we alright for Phase 5 right now. We're in a okay place. So guys, look, I'm digging it. From the way we're dealing with the action, him, jumping out the window, being chased, the way the TVA just looks, it's beautiful. The addition of OB, the dealing with the weight of the mass murder that they have been committing in the name of keeping the sacred timeline, which we now know was only to serve one person, even though it might have been a good thing. And still having that thread of where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, aka Sylvie. So I'm in, man. I like this. I'm glad to see where we're coming from and where we're going, or the idea of where we're going. And I think we set a lot of great building blocks up on this one, like for real. So guys, holler at me. I'ma holler at you down in them comments. Big shout out to Blerd-ish. Big shout out to Coop and Mark Dub. Big shout out to Gift for coming through too. Man, love y'all brothers. Shout out to Danique Cosplay for hitting up the fan event and ATL. Shouts out to all my ATL folks. Yo, this show, I'm here. I'm locked in. They keep it like this, I'm ready to roll. So of course, until next time that you have to go out on a limb and maybe get your skin pulled off your body because of the time is so crazy. Until the next time that you got to go in the past to talk to the future. Until the next time where you have to go into your own war room and inform the troops that y'all might have been wrong. This is from us to you saying, peace.